Welcome to the first episode of a new show, Thrift Store Library. I, of course, am your host, Susie Bianco, and we're coming to you from my my library, my personal library, as you can see. This time, instead of my kitchen or random places downstairs or outside of my house, as with my other shows. This show's going to be a little bit different. I am a librarian. I'm a part-time librarian. It's the best job in the world, and I love it. I also love thrift stores, and I'm in them way too much buying weird pants and random household objects. I am crazy about thrift stores. I love them. And sometimes in thrift stores, I find bizarre books. And so I got the brilliant idea to make a show based around weird books I find in thrift stores. I know, the title's pretty self-explanatory. It was that, or it was another giant jumble of portmanteau, like like the last one. So I decided to keep it simple this time. So in this show we're gonna ask the question, can you really judge a book by its cover? The answer is probably yes, because, well, I found the most unusual, weird, off the wall stuff I could find, and I'm guessing that most of them are pretty terrible. So we're going to start with something easy this week from the entirely overproduced, in my opinion, Chicken Soup for the Soul series. Now this is a taste of chicken soup for the dog lover's soul. As you can see, it's got a little spoon up there. They're giving him a taste. Like, I just give him a bowl, man. Dogs and cats love chicken soup. Just give him more than a spoonful. That seems mean. Also, like, soup comes in, like, cups. You can have, like, cup of soup. So why is it just, like, a taste? I don't understand. Okay, so in the early to mid-90s, Chicken Soup for the Soul came out. So, the year is 1993-ish. I forgot to look before I started filming, but I seem to remember I planned to do this episode like a month ago, and I have not gotten around to it. I think it was like 1993. The first Chicken Soup for the Soul book comes out, and the United States just loses it. It becomes one of the highest selling books and then book series in the world. Personally, I don't get it, but I do remember seeing a book of it that my grandmother had. She read it the way I read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, where every now and then she just sits down, and I was like, oh, look at this. Okay. Pretty sure I have the better book, though. Just saying. But the numbers since that came out have been staggering, quite frankly. I actually have a shot of their website here that I took a picture of off of my laptop while I was watching SmackDown, and in the background there's a picture of Drew McIntyre's face. I ain't even angry. So, it's over 275 titles, sold over 110 million copies in just the US and Canada. It's been translated into 43 languages and published in over 100 countries, and those have sold more than 5 million copies worldwide. This is since 1993. In 2004, it launched a pet food, which I can't find anywhere. I don't know. I mean, I found a couple of them on things of dog food on Amazon. I don't know if that's still like a thing anymore, and if that food is just super old. But in 2008, it was named the best-selling trade paperback series of all time. 2007, USA Today named Chicken Soup for the Soul one of the 5 most impactful books of the past 25 years. And, oh, they started selling actual chicken soup. Like, you know what? Good on them for expanding. Oh, and in 2015, they launched their entertainment division, which is mostly just really terrible Hallmark movies. But you know what? Good on them for keeping this train running. I gotta say, I don't get it because okay. Anyway, so A Taste of Chicken Soup for the Dog Lover's Soul is about 10 little vignette stories, maybe even less than that, about finding dogs and adopting dogs in unusual circumstances. And they're fine. They're so unbelievably... Okay, I am also a freelance fiction editor, and I edit comic books, graphic novels. In fact, I edit them for 21st Century Sandshark Studios. You can see one of them here. That bears my handiwork on it. The point of editing is to let the writer's self come through in a way that is more easily understood by readers, which is why you give it to an unbiased third party, the editor, to basically look over. The point of editing is not to remove all semblance of the writer's self and style from the book. Unfortunately, the editors of Chicken Soup for the Soul, at least the Chicken Soup for the Dog Lover's Soul, don't seem to understand that concept because these are all so heavily edited. It's like the same, I mean, I know they have a list of contributors and stuff in the back, but it's like it might as well have all been written by the same person. Like, I can imagine them calling in over the phone and being like, oh, the craziest thing happened with this dog. I'm still doing the receiver thing. The craziest thing happened with this dog. You want to publish it? And then, like, somebody just writes down the story, and because all of these are in the exact same voice. There is no individuality in these stories. It's a little annoying, actually. So the guy behind the Chicken Soup series is Jack Canfield. And also, I'm pretty sure Mark Victor Hansen. But basically, the guy who came up with this whole thing is Jack Canfield. He's the brains behind the whole operation. Terribleness of writing and style aside, I mean, I can't say the writing was that bad. The writing was fine. It was very straightforward. Nothing flowery or individualized about it. It was just so heavily edited that it's just, look, there's the story, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. Aw, wasn't that great? Just super paint by numbers. But not bad, necessarily. Just nothing there. You know. Anyway, Jack Canfield is the guy who came up with this. Jack Canfield has had an interesting life, and now, I know what you're all thinking, because I'm thinking the same thing. I'm very cynical of religion-based, how do I put this, feel-gooderies, based on how I grew up, and we'll get into that in the next episode. I tend to be very extremely cynical that people who write things like this, based on modern Christianity and, you know, positivity and feel-goodness, however you want to put it, there's usually a dark cloud underlining that. These usually tend to be horrendous people. I did try to look up dirt on Jack Canfield. Short of a story about how he left his wife and his children for his mistress at one point in the 70s, the guy seems like just kind of a genuinely decent person who just wants to, you know, give people entertainment who in this fashion, you know. I'm actually shocked, quite frankly, because, well, again, we'll get into this next episode, but this is I think the rare time when one of these people actually turns out to just be a genuinely nice person who wants to do something good for humanity and around their personal religion. It was bound to happen sooner or later. So, good on you, Jack Canfield. You became rich in a good way, and you do what you can to give back. And you know what? I appreciate that. I wish more people were like that. Again, next episode. But yeah, I have not a lot of bad that I can say about this. I don't get it. I did take a picture of the rules, or the rules for submissions. It's recipe for a winning chicken soup for the soul submission. A Chicken Soup for the Soul story is an inspirational true story about ordinary people having extraordinary experiences. It is a story that opens the heart and rekindles the spirit. It is a simple piece that touches our readers and helps them discover basic principles they can use in their own lives. These stories are personal and often filled with emotion and drama. They are filled with vivid images created by using the five senses. In some stories, the readers feel that they are actually in the scene with the people. It says, Chicken Soup for the Soul stories are written in the first person and have a beginning, middle, and an end. The stories often close with a punch, creating emotion rather than simply talking about it. Chicken Soup for the Soul stories have heart, but also something extra, an element that makes us all feel more hopeful, more connected, more thankful, more passionate, and better about life in general. They do not believe in the Oxford comma, apparently, which makes me mad. A good story causes tears, laughter, goosebumps, or any combination of these. Man, I don't know what the hell I was reading. Like, okay, I don't want to be a jerk because of what I just said. It really seems like these people are trying to just put something nice out in the world, and that's fine. But it's not good. These are the most bland, blasé stories that I've ever read. They have no real voice, and they certainly didn't give me goosebumps or make me go, oh, what a story! What an ending! I mean, I'm a cynical person, and I make fun of stuff. And apparently now that's part of my job, is to make fun of stuff on camera. But, like, nothing about this gives me hope. I read it and I'm like, these people really have nothing better to do with their lives than complain about dogs making a mess on their carpet. There is one story that actually, like, made me angry. It's, which one is it? It's A New Home. A New Home is by, should have written this down. Let's see. Elizabeth A. Freeman. This is a woman who just moved into a new house and has 3 small children and is worried more than anything about a dog they found making a mess in the house. Like, lady, houses can be cleaned. What are you going to do to your kids when they make a mess? Because they're going to make a mess because they're kids. Like, is this really the worst thing you have to deal with in your life, is to complain about your kids falling in love with a dog and that the dog makes messes and the kids make messes? Damn, I wish I had your life. I wish that was the worst thing in my life that I had to worry about. Holy crap! It did make me mad, because it's like, what, like, kids do more damage than house pets ever do. And somehow that's okay. But if your dog leaves paw prints somewhere, oh my god, the world is going to end. So that was literally the only thing in this book that got any kind of a reaction from me. Other than just, okay, that was the thing. That was literally it. And it made me mad. Like, come on, lady. I mean, my house is, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's interesting. It's usually kind of a mess. The carpets are torn up and there's crap everywhere. I mean, I clean it, but it's interesting. And I'm sure if this woman came in here, she would just have a stroke, and I would feel bad. I don't want to wish any harm on anybody, but it would make me laugh, because it's like, houses get lived in. So, no, I did not gasp. I did not get goosebumps for any of these. It's harmless. Yeah. Out of, you know, five out of 5 poop emojis, I give this one a bored shrug. It's not bad. It's not good. It's not really anything. You know what? If you want to give up a few minutes of your life and feel good about, I don't know, something, dogs getting homes with boring people who have no storytelling ability, give it a read. It's fine. You know what? It's harmless. It's like the earth, mostly harmless. All right. Well, that was something. We'll see how this goes. We'll see how the show goes, I should say. I'm an avid reader. I have been pretty much my whole life, ever since my mom used to read to me when I was little, before I could start reading. And then I started reading my own, and I never stopped. I was known as the kid who, in school, who wouldn't talk to anybody and had, 3 library books, buried in front of, my face was buried in front of, and, only a few, a very small handful of people ever actually heard me speak. I remember doing plays in college where people from my high school came and they're like, oh my God, she can talk. Well, it's they now, but still. So I was always, I understand the escapism that comes from books. I'm a librarian now. I definitely understand that my paycheck is predicated on understanding the escapism that comes from literature. And it is so important. And this show is not in any way designed to mock anyone's personal form of escapism. Because that is very important. To quote Tom Waits, the world is a hellish place, and bad writing is destroying the quality of our suffering. True words have never been spoken about the books that are going to show up on this show. And, I don't want to encourage people to not read because something they love might get mocked on a really stupid YouTube show. But there's so many good books out there. I'm not going to be reviewing any of them. Go read something good. Just, even if you like these books, even if you don't want me to make fun of them, I'm still going to do it because that's why I'm here. The important thing is that you're reading. So keep reading, even if it's trash, because sometimes trash is pretty fun. So that's all for this episode. Thank you for joining me in this inaugural episode of Thrift Store Library. I almost forgot that. I almost said Kitchen Witch. Next episode is probably going to be one a month. I'm aiming for. We're going to tackle a doozy. Extreme Grandparenting by Dr. Tim and Darcy Himmel. Presented by, always the best name in shit literature, Focus on the Family. It's gonna be great. I will tear the piss out of whatever the hell this is, because it's gonna be bad. Alright, we'll see you next time. Keep reading. See ya.